Hello, I'm Serge from SkyComp, and today I want to introduce to you and talk to you about Owl Labs' different options for boardroom setups. The Owl Labs have many options, and we've used many different solutions over time for small boardrooms. And often, setting up a boardroom can be expensive, time-consuming. You just don't get the result you want. And that's what Owl has tried to solve. A very simple solution to convert your non-connected boardroom into a great meeting space that you can bring in virtual people into the meeting room. And they kind of have two main form factors that I have on display here. They have their traditional Owl, and the purpose of this is to sit in the middle of the boardroom table. It has a 360-degree camera at top and mics that are directional mics. This will show users that are connecting in a full 360-degree view, but also has movement and sound detection, and will do virtual picture-in-picture to show the person that's speaking as a focus. It's very easy to set this up. Again, you need power and a computer with a USB-C. You plug it into your computer, and it exposes to Zoom, Microsoft Teams, GoToMeeting, any of your platforms. It exposes it as a sound device, a camera, and a mic, and Owl does the rest. One cable to plug into your computer, and everything's working. So this is a nice, easy retrofit that you're gonna place on a boardroom table. I've also used it for portable meetings. There's an adapter in the bottom that you can screw into a tripod, and I've set up in a tripod in a meeting space, and it's worked very well. For a little bit more permanent of a solution, a lot of times people have a boardroom TV and a computer mounted behind the boardroom TV type of idea. They have the Owl bar. All the same technology that's in the traditional Owl, but that mounts either to the wall, or there's an optional bracket that you can get that connects to the back of the TV in a standard VESA mount, so that if you have an articulating TV, the bar is actually hanging off the bottom of the TV and will move with it. But again, all the same features. Single USB cable to plug into your computer, and it has the 4K camera, speakers, mic, directional sensing. So these are great solutions to easily retrofit your boardroom. The Owl that places in the desk, there's a couple of different models. What I have on display here is the Meeting Owl 4 Plus. The main difference between the Meeting Owl 4 Plus and the Meeting Owl 3 is the resolution of the camera. So we have the 4K model here. It's a little bit more of a premium price because it has that 360 4K camera. If you go to the Meeting Owl 3, everything else for the most part is the same form factor, same look, same interface, but that only has an HD camera. Still 360 degrees, still senses and zooms into the talking party. But that's the main difference. So depending on your price point and what you need and how big the room is, you can kind of decide how you want to go. As well, these devices, you can get an external mic. So if your boardroom is a little bit bigger and you find that the mics aren't picking up somebody at the far end well, you can get an external mic that plugs directly into the Owl and extends that, and then you have a mic pod that's further away. Most times you don't need that, but it is an option that you can add, so it's just something to be aware of. So for the most part, day to day, you don't need to do anything with it, but there is software that you're able to configure and decide. The panoramic strip you can turn on or off if you don't like that. You can control it. You can even invert, so if for some reason you wanted to permanently mount this and it's actually hanging from a mount upside down, you're able to tell it to invert the camera. So there's a lot of features in there that let you kind of configure that. And a nice thing, because everybody's always afraid of technology when they walk into a boardroom and don't know how to set things up and get it working, the Owl comes with a nice little cue card. Basically, this is for your visitors coming into the boardroom, introduces them to the Owl, shows them what the buttons are, shows them how to plug into their computer and how it shows up. And day-to-day use, once you've set it up, an individual user doesn't need to load any Owl software. They'll plug the USB-C Lightning into their laptop. It'll automatically recognize as a camera, mic, and speakers. And then you just assign that in Teams or Zoom and start using it. So you can be up and going within a couple of minutes. Another great feature of these devices, if your boardroom is just a little bit bigger, you still want to have the bar underneath your TV, but you're finding the length is a little bit too long and it's not picking up people exactly, or the audio's not as good. These devices actually pair together. I had talked about they can connect to the Wi-Fi network to do firmware updates, but they can also talk to each other in a real live meeting. So your device is connected to one of them. The two devices talk to each other, stay in sync, and will use the mics, cameras, and sound to give you the best possible experience for you in the room and for visitors that are connecting in from remote. So sometimes it will use the camera off the bar at the bottom of the TV, but if somebody far back in the room is speaking and it can't quite focus from that single camera by the TV, it'll go to the 360 camera on the Owl 4 and use the video from that, but it meshes it all together into one stream on one computer. So that's a very nice feature to add. When your boardroom gets just a little bit bigger and you don't want to go to a very, very expensive retrofit with dedicated cameras, you can just easily add the Owl 4 Plus or the Owl 3 and integrate the two. So that's a quick overview of the Owl. We're really liking this solution. We've done a few solutions over the past, but this is a very easy retrofit to an existing boardroom that doesn't take a lot of cabling and a lot of infrastructure changes. It's a power plug and a USB cable, and that's pretty much it. For firmware updates, it connects to Wi-Fi of your office. So it'll do firmware updates kind of right over Wi-Fi to keep it up to date for all the latest features. And if you need something more advanced and you move past the Owl, then that's when you bring in somebody custom and do it. But if you have a simple boardroom, you want to get going very fast, you can be up and running with this device in less than 15 minutes and hosting your first meeting. So hopefully this is a nice little introduction. We're gonna do some follow-up videos, getting into some more details and configuration and show you what it's mounted and some example qualities so that you can see that. But wanted to introduce this product to you, and if you have any questions, reach out to us and we can help.